Atlas. Presented by Cave. Select your battle fighter. Okay, the countdown begins. 3, 2, 1, go! Mission starts now. Are you ready? Battle starts